Good morning, everyone. This is Emily Gilman Beezley coming to you live from my studio here at the Jersey Shore. I hope you're all having a great Labor Day weekend. Just wanted to check in real quick and let you know that I am having a pop-up studio sale of some of my epic coastal dreamscapes. So, what are epic coastal dreamscapes, you may ask? Well, let me share that with you. I'm going to flip my phone and talk to you a little bit about the genesis of this series of artwork. So I had a few years back this recurring dream of giant waves hitting the coast. And growing up every summer at the Jersey Shore, I have a very strong emotional attachment to this particular area. So what you see here is the first of a series that I'm going to share with you this morning. It is called Rising Sea Levels, and it is an oil over monotype on canvas paper. You can see that it's signed here in the lower right corner. The edges are left alone, and that is typical of a printmaking strategy. So what is a monotype? A monotype is a printmaking process. So I start with a zinc plate and I apply black etching ink onto that. I use solvents, I use my fingers, cardboard, brushes, and once I am happy with the image, I take paper, which is wet, and I hand pull it through a printing press. Then you get the reverse image. Once that's dry, I carefully overlay color in this case, but maintain the integrity of the underlying print. So it's a process to do this, something that I really love to do. You'll see more of these in the next few artworks that I'll be featuring, and then I will switch over to some oil paintings. So this is the first of the artworks, Rising Sea Levels. It is 16 inches high by 11 inches wide without the frame. The frame just makes it about 20 inches high, I want to say, to about 15 inches. Let me put this back here. And these are all greatly on sale on my website, which is www.emilygilmanbeezley.com. So you can check it out there. In fact, I happen to have my website available here. So what you can see is this live art show for National Beach Day, which actually took place last week, but I still do have this available art, which I'll be sharing with you. And you can see the prices. You can click on the buy now. These are all original, so there's only one of each of these. So please go ahead and check these out on my website. The first one that I showed you is Rising Sea Levels, and as an example, normally this would be $520, but today it is $365, and the sale will end tomorrow, which is Labor Day. Okay, so let me keep going. Alrighty. So now you see Coastal Clash. It is the same media. So it's oil paint over monotype on canvas paper. You can see there's a lot of dreamlike colors. There's some interesting fish effect in this wave. You see these rocks that form a jetty, some bungalows. So when I went to the beach back in the day, we didn't have these giant houses that were built after Sandy. They were all these very small bungalows, and that's what I'm showing here. There's this beautiful sky. So this is Coastal Clash. It is the same size as Rising Sea Levels. I do think that they go really well together. So you can see that, but let me keep going to the next artwork that I will be featuring. Here we go. All right, so this is called A Tall Tale of the Sea. It's a similar process in that it's color over monotype, but in this case, I actually am doing it on paper. And instead of oil paint, it is watercolor and pastel. What's really interesting about this particular image is that I did leave some of the areas without any color, which forms this interesting negative space. So you can see that with this smaller wave within the larger wave, but the same inspiration with the jetty, the bungalows in the back, the interesting sky, and then the large wave. So this one is small. It is 8 inches high by 10 inches wide. It is framed to 15 inches by 16 inches. And of course, you can always switch out any of the mats and frames to match your decor. I chose this stainless steel frame, which I think looks nice. Again, you've got signatures in the lower right, typical of printmaking. I'm going to keep on going. So that is A Tall Tale of the Sea, and next we'll have Opposites Attract. Alrighty. So Opposites Attract, again, a small 8 inch by 10 inch frame to about 15 by 16. You've got 2 large waves here that are bookending these interesting little bungalow, very symbolic, again, watercolor and pastel over monotype on Strathmore paper. So I'll just go around here. You see some interesting texture all along the edges, and then the clean area, which is the paper, and you can see that it's embossed, meaning that there's an imprint of the plate as it was pulled through the printing press. So this is Opposites Attract. Okie doke. Next up is Echo. It is again a similar watercolor and pastel over monotype on paper. And you see a lot of interesting texture. I'm just going to talk briefly about that. So etching ink is an oil-based substance, and when you apply a water-based substance like watercolor, for example, it creates these interesting textures, splotches, bubbles, spatter, and then this really nice watercolor effect. So I'm really happy with how this came out. It actually took me quite a bit of time. I manipulated this over a couple of years. I wasn't satisfied with the image, but now I really like it. I just recently made it available on my website. And that's actually a good point. Not everything that I'm showing here today is normally available. So check out this special sale. Again, you can follow along at emilygilmanbeezley.com and see how all of these artworks are available and on sale until tomorrow, which is Labor Day. All right, so all right, guys. So now we're getting bigger. This is now my oil on canvas. I call it the Sands of Time. Let me back up a tiny bit here. So this painting's a little large for the space where I'm showing it, but you'll see the image. It is 18 inches high by 24 inches wide without the frame. I call it the Sands of Time. You see there's this nice hourglass effect on the left where there's water flowing almost like a funnel through here, which is the inlet into the open water. Some interesting waves. And then I'm very fascinated by mosaic, and you can see that with how I've delineated this aerial view of the bungalows and the streets with the bay behind it. I have these kind of gem-like colors, which I think really pop against the blues and the greens. So this is a fun piece, the Sands of Time, pretty much a metaphor for many different things. And you can see that the frame actually has some interesting texture as well. I'm going to get close up here, which I think goes well with it. Of course, again, you can always switch out the frame, but for now, this is the Sands of Time. I'm going to move on to the next oil painting. So this is my Tsunami. It's titled after a Japanese word for tidal wave, but there's a very Japanese quality to this. I'm also very fascinated by woodblock prints and something that I've experimented with. And you can see how with this monochromatic blue palette and the line work, there's a woodblock-like quality to it. The other thing that's nice is this palette. It is mostly blues and very creamy beiges. It reminds me a little bit of the Greek Isles, actually, with this palette. But it's very delicate, a little bit different from the last oil painting that we saw, which had more of that mosaic-like quality. Here you've got the juxtaposition between the curves of the waves and these interesting geometric shapes for the bungalows. So this is Tsunami. It is, I want to say 14 inches high by 18 inches wide, oil on canvas board, available. Let me move on to the next oil painting. All right, so this is double wave. It's the similar concept. You've got two waves here in the lower right corner, these interesting geometric shapes around these arcs that indicate the land. You've got the water coming through into the ocean. So very, again, juxtaposition between these earth tones in the land and almost the jewel-like colors contrasted with these aquas and sea greens. This is double wave. It's not available currently on my website, but it is available through the sale. So if you go to the landing page and hit buy now, then double wave is available. It is like all of my other artwork, signed in the lower right corner. And again, it's a very simple frame, but you can always swap it out to the frame of your choice. Let me move on to the last but not least painting that I'll be sharing with you this morning. Okay, so this is the Song of the Sea. I just framed it this week, so again, not available currently on my website. You've got the large wave here in the lower right. You've got the indication of land with the bungalows. You've got this interesting turbulent ocean. But what's lovely about this is this ray of light coming through these ominous clouds, kind of an archaeangel type effect. Just promoted this on Instagram, not promoted, but sent out a post. I got some lovely, lovely comments, so you can see that on my site, which is Gilman Art on Instagram. But this is, again, not currently available on my general website, but if you go to the landing page of my sale for National Beach Day, appropriate for Labor Day weekend, you'll be able to find this. So let me wrap up here. Okay, so maybe I'll flip the phone again. All right, so still here. Hope you have a great Labor Day weekend. Thanks for checking in. Let me know what you think of my artwork. I'm here at the studio, kind of isolated, so I always love to get feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? Do you need more explanations? Happy to do personalized consultations if you are interested in any artwork. Check it out at emilygilmanbeezley.com. And with that, have a great rest of the weekend. All right, bye everyone.